Once again, organist Leslie Pearson mans the pipe organ for more distinctive Simpson music, and exceptionally in this story plays music heard in all 4 episodes. The organ is heard right from the beginning to represent the appearance of the guardian, followed by, obviously, the music heard in my arrangement. There are some other relic room bits that I did not include. In the latter 2 parts, the organ underscores scenes in the catacombs, an underground labyrinth where the long dead and, allegedly, the ice gods reside. In fact, Simpson reuses here the same folk-like theme as in the relic room music. Former script editor Robert Holmes's script for the Ribos Operation has a certain Russian inspiration, which was certainly taken up by the set and costume designers. To my mind and ear, Simpson may have done the same, borrowing a trick from composer Igor Stravinsky, although perhaps not as literally. Stravinsky famously incorporated real Russian folk songs in his early 20th century ballets. I strongly doubt Simpson stole a Russian folk song, but he seems to have tried to produce his own. My original transcription consisted of only the Part 2 music, which accounts for my title. As often happens with me, I recently decided to expand the arrangement to include music from Part 1, and this gives that lovely folk melody ample time to warm your heart. This does make the title a little less appropriate, but I liked it too much to change it, and a title like The Relic Room wasn't evocative enough for me. The expanded arrangement opens with Part 1's Evening Ritual, and the folk theme in C minor is introduced. The first 2-measure phrase repeats almost literally. Then the second of the 2 measures repeats by itself twice. The theme concludes with a final reiteration of the original phrase. The harmonic support is founded on a constant C bass, with an inner voice rising and falling chromatically. Starting at the perfect 5th above C, it rises through the minor 6th to the major 6th, then descends back the way it came. In the second phrase, the major 6th rises once more to the minor 7th, and this tension sets up the melodic extension formed by those 1-measure repeated phrases. As the inner voice descends, it answers the melody with a phrase of its own. There is a 1-beat pause after the melody ends, and the culmination of the ritual is signaled by a powerful fortissimo set of chords. Beginning on C minor, they quickly abandon that key, and after dramatic pulses on B flat major, with the tritone E natural added in the bass, the ritual ends on A major. As usual with these massive chords, the inclusion of the organ's bass pedal as a 3rd part poses that age-old question, do I play it before or after the chords? After was my solution here, added a little softer, so you might even believe it was always there. Besides this harmonic shift, you'll notice a sudden rhythmic shift as well, and that could only be another metric modulation. In my score, it's notated as a tempo change from 60 beats per minute to 90 beats per minute. Although the speed is different, the modulation heard in Spacewalk 1 from episode 22 is the exact same proportion as here. Unlike that piece, the initial shift here is from slower to faster. And to help me change speeds on a dime, I use that vital 1 beat of rest to count an imaginary 8th note triplet. This triplet becomes the speed of the 8th notes in the new tempo. Triplet. The addition of this segment from Part 1 did create an arranging problem for me. The final A major chord is very foreign to C minor, and in connecting it to the part 2 music, it sounded very choppy and awkward to just jump back to the original key. Simpson and serendipity intervened. Near the end of part 1, the Doctor and Romana have slipped past a sleeping Shreve into the relic room. With the tracer giving a strong signal, the Doctor is using the sonic screwdriver to break into the reliquary, but it's taking a very long time, and Romana urges him on. Underscoring this scene is a very soft, half-speed version of the folk melody, that is, in quarter notes rather than eighth notes. The music is transposed to D minor, and A major is the dominant of D. Yay! This made for a much smoother transition, and so this short segment became the bridge between the two longer cues. This D minor segment sees the inner voice movement descend one more note to the diminished fifth. There's an echo, too, of the answering line that the inner voice has in the opening phrases. And this A-flat B natural helps to smooth out the move back to C minor. Part 2's music forms the climax of the piece and supports the titular morning ritual scene. The piece sounds like it's starting again, but the melody is slightly pared down, and the conclusion of the 2-bar phrase is interrupted. A C minor chord with a tritone F sharp in the bass initiates the captain's prayers of thanks. During the prayers, there is another half-speed version of the melody. The captain gives his staff to a Shreve, ordering the lamps to be lit, and there is a sudden sync from F minor, the 4 chord of C minor, to E minor, signaling the shift to this brighter, if still minor, key. The majesty of the organ envelops us here as the folk melody restates in E minor and begins to elaborate. The second phrase varies the melody higher, which leads to the original phrase up an octave. The fourth and final phrase discards the now familiar rising motif that has instigated the melody thus far, and instead imitates the shape of the previous measure, the second half of that original phrase. Underneath the rising and falling inner voice line, now fleshed out with E minor harmony each time, alternates each beat with a deep E natural in the organ pedals. As the ritual winds down, trumpeting E major chords sing out, while the pedals answer with a melodic line bouncing from the minor 7th to the minor 9th. This darkens the triumph slightly before landing on E. In this final section, the sostenuto pedal once again allowed the fullest and clearest sound possible for all of these elements. Check out my episodes 11 and 32 for more sostenuto stuff. More trumpet chords conclude the reverent display, but as a stranger enters the relic room, the alien con man Garrett, the pedals answer again, this time settling on A sharp, and this unsettling tritone sets the stage for the continuation of the scene. Beautiful melodies such as this were hard to find at this stage of Simpson's Doctor Who career, but this one sure is a beauty and makes his score to the Ribos Operation that much more special. give thanks for the safe journey through episode 36, part 2 of the Dudley Simpson is Doctor Who project. Next time, I'll delve deeper into season 16. Which segment of the Key to Time will be next? Subscribe, like, share, and comment. See you then.